Hey, welcome back. In our first video, we built our very first app. Now in this video, I'm going to show you how to customize the look of the app to match your brand. So if you remember in our app, we have this logo at the top, a gallery of images, and some contact buttons and some share buttons at the bottom, and then a copyright at the very bottom. So let's first start updating the color scheme to match our brand. So, or first let's start with the logo, then we'll go to the color scheme. So the logo's here at the top, and as you can see over here, we have a logo as well. So I can update the logo in one of two ways. I can click on this cog, which will let me update the settings for the logo, or in the Visual Designer, I can just click on the area where the logo is, and it'll let me update it. So let me do that. I just clicked, and what it does is it shows me the current logo. It also gives me a recommendation of about 1280 by 280 is about the size, but you can upload any size you really want. I'm going to upload my logo for Cook Designer Portraits here in a second, and there's two ways of doing it. I can just click on this image and it'll pop up a list of files for me to select from to upload. Or my favorite, as I said earlier in the first one, is just take a file, drag, and drop it in. And there is my logo, Cook Designer Portraits. So what I'm going to do is click Exit and go back to the Visual Designer, and you'll see that we have our logo, which is a black background with a gold lettering. So let's go to the next step of this and update the rest of the app to tell it to have a black background with gold. So the way you update the layout theme is you click on, or the color scheme, is you click on this cog right next to layout, and here we go. We have some color schemes that are built in. Here you can see a list of them. Or if you prefer, you can just type in what you want. So, or click. For a background color, I can either type in the color code, or I can click and select the color I want. So I want the background to be black. Let's have the text coloring be white, and then I want the link coloring to be gold. Now I know the gold color code for my gold logo, and that is CB8F0B, and there's my gold. And what I'll do is I'll just copy and paste that for the icon colors as well. So the link and icons will be in a golden shape, the text will be white, and the background will be black. That looks reasonable. Now I'll click Save, and now we've got our background black. You see it went black, and if I scroll down to the bottom, you can see I got the white lettering and the black, the gold icons. Okay, that looks good. I think that's the color scheme I want. All right, so now I've got an app that sort of matches my brand. If you'll notice over here on the contact buttons, there's a warning. Please update the buttons with your contact information. So what happens is when you create a default app, or the initial app, it just throws in some contact icons to get you started, but you really need to update them. So I can update them two ways again. I can either click on the cog here, or I can click over here close to where the contacts are. So let me click over here, and you'll see it pop up, and you'll see my two contact buttons, and I've got some options here. I can change the label for it, which the label is what you see. I can't move it out of the way, but it's right here on the layout list. I can change the background color, so if I want just the buttons to have a different background color, I can do that. If I want to change the text, I can do that as well. I can change the icon color, I can do that, or I can change the title. So I can override what the default theme is, but I'll leave that alone. But it wants me to update these two buttons. So let me click on the mail button, and you'll see what it's talking about. On the mail to, which is a syntax, it talks about how to send an email. It wants an email address. So well, here's just an example, but I really need to put in our studio email address, which is studio@cookdesignerportraits.com. And I'll save that. And then our telephone number, and this is the syntax for the telephone, which it says to call on telephone. Let me change that to our studio number, 502-867-5799. and let me save that. So now it's updated the two buttons. Now if I wanted to add a third button, like maybe a text message, send us a text message or whatever, I can click that to add a button, but I'll show you how to add buttons and go into that a little more detail in the next video. And then let me click save, and you'll notice the warning went away. So now our contact buttons are here with the right contact information. So if they'll send me an email, if they click that, it'll send us or call us on the telephone if they click that. So now we've got the basics laid out here. What I prefer in my app is for the contact buttons to be at the top. And what I can do is move the contact buttons by dragging the contact buttons and bring it right to the top underneath the logo. So what happened is the contact buttons are now here at the top above the gallery. The next thing I want to do is on these images copyrighted, I want to change the text here. So let me click on that and you'll see image copyrighted at 2014 by Cook Designer Portraits. Let's put our name in there and click save. Okay, so we got image copyrighted by Cook Designer Portraits at the bottom. How to share the app is at the bottom. We've got the images here. Everything's just about right except for the gallery. This is the default gallery layout, which is like small 2-column on a phone, or it'll go like to 4-column or more, depending on the laptop. I'm sorry, not the laptop, but the tablet you use, and whether you're in portrait or landscape mode. What I prefer is what it was called a block layout, where the landscape or horizontal images will go across the 2 columns, be wide, and the vertical images or portrait images will be the same size as you see them now. So what it does is it makes the landscape more proportional to the portrait images than they are now. So let me show you this so you can actually see it. So I'll click on gallery, and here is how I can edit a gallery. If I want to change the order, the layout of the images, I can just drag and drop them here, but I can also do that on the visual design portion. I'll show you that in a second, but I just want to change the layout and change it to block. I can change the background color for the gallery. I can change the text if I want. I can include photo names. Now, what this names is when they bring up the images, when they go into clicking on one of the thumbnails and it brings up the images large, it'll actually show the name of the image as well. I'll leave that in check so we don't need it. And the margin on how wide or how many pixels between each of the images, I'll leave it as 5, so that's fine. So let me click save. And this now clicked into block mode. And like I said, the landscape images are 2-column, or it'll go across the whole display. So if you're on now we're in a case of where if we're on a iPad or a phone, the layout will be identical because it will go across or just 2 up for the portrait images. So here's the app. I don't particularly like the layout too much right now, so let me change some things. What I want is a horizontal one to start with, so let me just take this and drag it, and wherever I drop it, it'll move in front of. So if I put it here, it'll move in front of this image, but if I put it here, it'll move in front of the first image, and that's what I want. I want this image at the top, so it's a wide, then 2-column, well then I got 2 more columns. Let me come down here and select it. Well, let me get rid of this image. This image is not really something I really like now that I see it in my layout. It probably doesn't fit real well here. So let me just take it over here and drop it in the trash can. That will get rid of it. And then let me come back up here, and I want to put this image in between here. And now I'm starting to get sort of a blocked layout, if that makes sense what I'm saying. Everything's great except for I've got this odd image down here, and the question is, do I want to leave it an odd one at the bottom? And that's what happens with the block, or do I can take it out by deleting it? But I think I'll leave it, it's fine. So here's the app. I've gone through and I've customized the layout to make it what I like and how I want it. So the last thing I really need to do is click this little save icon right here on the layout. And when you click save, this layout has been saved as the default for the future apps. So what that means in the future when I build an app or create a new app, actually let me go show you that. I will create a new app right now by clicking Create New App and call this Test 2. What I've got is a new app with the layout the way I've got it. The contact button information is there. You notice the warning sign's not here. So I've got this ready to go for my next app, where all I basically need to do is drop my images on this empty gallery and publish. So it's as quick as that first demo that I showed you of dropping the images and publish, and you're done. So it's extremely quick to build apps now that I've got my default layout. That's for this section. The next one's going to go into a lot of detail about what all the things are on the screen, what the various options are, like the imaging and the text and the video and all the options available on the builder. So it's going to be a pretty long tutorial, but right now you should be able to start kicking off apps right and left. And if you want to get fancy and add custom text to your screen, or apps, or music, or even additional buttons to do what you want, that's coming up in the next video. So stay tuned, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.